Howdy folks, today I've got a special video for you. We're going to be working on the junk air truck. This is it right here. I've got a whole pile of parts for this thing. I've got a lot of stuff that I've ordered to get this thing ready for our Gambler500 run this year. One of the things that we're going to be installing is I have this quarter duty air tank or onboard air system. I primarily bought this to operate the air suspension I have back here. Now it's not full air suspension, it's just air helper springs. I put those in because I wanted to be able to haul stuff back here and control the ride height. So what I decided to do was order this kit, and it comes with a little it's literally a quarter duty 25% duty cycle air compressor, which I may upgrade this to a ARB unit somewhere down the road. But the thing is, it comes with an air tank. I don't want a huge air tank in the back of this. Something like this is perfect for what I'm going to be using this truck for. And mainly this just gives me a little buffer for the air springs so I can quickly air them up and have a little bit of air if I need to air up tires and whatnot. And as usual, cat wants out. Now, one of the things I wanted to go along with my air suspension, or my onboard air, I bought this glow shift air pressure gauge. It says 2 needles on it and has 2 inputs. Then I bought this. This is a little air control solenoid or valve block. I bought this to not only keep the airbags separate, but also makes it so that I can air the individual airbags up or down. I can control them individually is what I'm getting at. Words, right? So, and this is convenient because it has all these extra ports on it. I'm using these as my output. One will be the driver's side. 2 is going to be the passenger. I've got an inlet. This exhaust I'll probably leave open. Here, these are directly piped into your outputs. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to put some T-fittings. They're not T's, but just an elbow so I can put these giganto air pressure sensors on. And so each one, I got a little street elbow, and then I've got a little 45 degree that'll go here. And this will let me see the air pressure that each bag is at. Now, I'm looking at this. I don't know if you can see the light. Those are straight through, but they're blocked off from these two because the valves are closed. So that does allow you to you could put pressure sensors here if you want, and you can see what each bag is at. So that's kind of my my intentions. So the first thing I want to do is try and find a spot where we can put this air tank. I'm not quite sure in my head where it might fit, but I think what we'll do is we'll jack the truck up as high as I can get it in this garage. We'll put it on jack stands. We'll slide on under, and we'll see if we can find a spot where we can put this air tank. I'd like to avoid putting it in the bed, but we may have to do that. And the reason why I don't want to put it in the bed is because this canopy is not permanent. This is just for the Gambler. Although I may get another canopy just for this truck, because this one here I found cheap off of Marketplace for like $100 or whatever, and it came off a Chevy or something. And yeah, Chevy canopies don't really fit all that great with old Ford beds. Apparently this Ford bed's wider and slightly longer, so that's great. Yeah. Oh, did you hear that? So yeah, and the other thing I want to do, since we're here and we're going to have the back end jacked up, I'm going to go ahead and put in my fancy schmancy Bilstein air, I almost said air shocks, but I want to get these put in. I have air shocks in this right now. I'd like to get rid of those. They were, a cute idea, but because the angle they're at, they're like at a 45-degree angle or whatever, they're not going to do much for you. Airbags are the way to go. You know, there is a lot of room right along here where we can mount stuff. I'm thinking, because it's a longer wheelbase truck, I'm thinking we can mount our tank right here. The only line that's here is the fill tank vent. So I'm thinking we can mount our tank in here, and then I'd like to maybe we can mount the tank right there in that section, and then maybe back here or somewhere before we get to, well, I'd actually like to mount the tank right here, and then maybe we can mount the compressor here, and then that way we can put that line right in there. And then, as long as this doesn't get, you know, tore off, I think it'll be okay from getting mud and stuff on it. I've driven this thing through mud and stuff, and the frame's pretty clean. So yeah, maybe we can use an existing hole or something. I won't be able to mount my compressor there, but that's where the tank's gonna go. The compressor is going to have to get mounted probably in the engine bay. They want it mounted upright like that, and obviously in an area where there's minimal dust and water. Unfortunately, if we mount it on the frame, one, mounting it like that's a no-go. Secondly, the problem we'll run into is that this will definitely come into contact with water and dirt and whatnot. So we'll mount this in the engine compartment. And plus, we want to keep this close to the battery as possible anyway, so that'll be less wiring to do. What I will do is we'll probably go to Harbor Freight, and we'll get a... ooh, wait. I think I have some. I'll go look at my box. I think I have some air hose we can thread onto this. I think this is a standard air fitting too. It's like a 1/4 inch or... I think it's a 1/4 inch or 5/16. I don't know what it is. But anyways, we can hook our air hose to this and then run that down to the tank, and then we'll probably just put a hose barb in it or something. I think that'll do it. Yeah. Okay. Let me see if I got some air hose. There it is. I think what we'll do, we'll cut this off here. I'm going to swap that blow-off valve that's on there. I'm going to put it at the bottom. I'll put this on the top so it's a little out of the way. And then I think this is enough to run to the engine bay. So yeah, we'll thread this into the tank. We'll go get a little coupler. So let's see, I think this is, what is this, 3/8? Yeah, 3/8 inside diameter. So we'll get a 3/8 hose barb that fits this. And ideally what I'd like to do is actually put a dryer in line, and I might have a dryer. I don't know. Well, we'll need to get a dryer because I do want to put that in there. So yeah, we can run this right down there to the engine bay. I'd like to get this... We'll see how much we got. This will kind of dictate where this gets mounted. But I'd like to get this wiring as close as I can to my aux beam, because the aux beam is going to run this, and that'll kind of be our relay and everything. So I'll see how long this is, and then if it's long enough, we can thread this into the tank. I'll get some tape, put some tape on that, and just run this up to the engine bay, and that'll be that. This stuff here is some pretty decent stuff. I've got a whole hose reel of this, and I had it for a while, and it's lasted. I also have this mesh stuff here. I'm going to see if I can get over that, because that'll kind of clean it up and just hide any... I don't want any vibrant colors hanging out along the frame, especially when we got this, you know, doodad there. So That'll go in there. Oh, there. All right, let me show you what I got going on here. So, I don't really have a good spot in here to mount the compressor except for right here. I think what I'd like to do, and I have some steel, we can make a little plate. I'm thinking we can cut a little square and mount it across here. That'll just give it a little bit of support so it's not, you know, mounted straight up on plastic. So we'll put a, in fact, let's go grab that compressor and just kind of loosely set it there. We could just mount it right there. And then, you know, I'll go get a fitting and we'll mate these two together. Yeah, I think that'll work. We'll make a little plate. Yeah, that'll work. The other thing is we could make a plate to come off of this and mount it there, but I don't want it to get like hot or anything. So yeah, I think that'll work. We probably could even just take some flat stock and just cut little strips and just mount it like that, just to give the plastic some support. We could even do that. Okay, so air tank's mounted. We have a main line from the tank going to the engine bay for our air compressor. I've got the fitting that hooks to this, and then will let us put that in our 3/8 line. With that, we pretty much just need to make a couple of pieces of flat steel. I think I have some in my storage. We can trim those up, drill some holes, and we can nut and bolt that through the plastic, but use that metal as just kind of a support to just distribute the load or the vibration from that pump. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for that mounting. Keeps it just out of, well, for the most part, mud and water and just dirt. It's a little bit drier in there, especially when, you know, the engine's running. So that should be a good spot for this compressor. It's kind of a temporary mounting setup anyways, because I kind of do plan on getting an ARB unit at some point for it. Possibly. We'll see how long this pump lasts. When we blow it up, then I'll get an ARB unit for it. How about that? So right now what I want to do, I want to get this mounted somewhere, or find a spot for it anyways. Dang it, the hardware store's closing soon and I don't have long screws for this. So I think what we'll do, we'll find a spot for it. We'll kind of maybe loosely place it where it needs to go and zip tie it temporarily until I get some screws to mount this. So I wanted to show you something kind of funny. So last year, me and Dad did a lot of firewood. We ended up using this truck just because I had the long bed. It was easy to load. It's not lifted like my other one, and you know, it's still got decent fuel mileage. Hauling, I think I got 13 miles to the gallon. Hauling, we had like 2,000 pounds of firewood. I mean, we had this thing all the way on the bump stops. So it's a little oblong now. I mean, it's still tight on the deal, but like even this one, yeah. We put these shocks through their paces. They did pretty good. I mean, for how much weight we had back there, they did do something. All right, tubes, I'm about to call it quits for tonight, but I got my system just jerry-rigged. Check this out. And then we want to go down. Check this out. That is cool. So tomorrow when we have daylight, I'll show you what I got rigged up and we'll continue on with this install. But yeah, I got a couple leaks in my air tank. I think just at the fittings. The lines aren't leaking, but I'll revisit those. I've been having to redo the I got these. It's got a little bit of goo on it, but I've been putting some fresh stuff on it and then really locking them down. I had a couple leaks at just this area. The line itself is not leaking, so those fittings are doing pretty good, but it's just got to add some actual tape on there to let it seal up properly and really, you know, crank them down. But the tank, we'll look at those fittings later. Everything's just kind of like thrown together basically. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. That pump's actually fairly quiet, and it pumps up fairly fast, so I think it won't take long to fill up this tank. But yeah, just having the air valve with that pump, or having a reservoir of air, man, this thing just, it jumps up quick. Almost as quick as that barking spider. Alright, dudes, it's a much drier day today. This is the following week of making this video. I'm going to show you what I got going on here. I've got my relay wired in for the compressor here. So the way I'm setting this up is, okay, hang on, it's gonna get real loud here. So anyways, power is gonna come from my aux beam distribution deal over there. I'm gonna run a wire over the cowling here along with the AC hose. It's gonna come down. It's going to come into that switch there, and then from that switch it'll go through this wire, which goes up to the relay. So what this will do is when you turn on the air compressor using the aux beam, the compressor will only get power as long as that switch is closed, and then once that tank gets 120 psi, it will it'll pop back on, and then when it gets down to 90 psi, it'll turn the compressor back on. So that's how it's going to be set up. See my new catalytic converters? Just kidding. Anyways, that's kind of how I got it set up. This stuff here I'm going to wrap up. Just get it all kind of tidied up. I'm going to go ahead and mount it right here on this plastic. This thing doesn't shake a whole lot, so I think it'll actually be okay. But yeah, so I've got to go and run and get another amount of the spade connectors. I'm gonna get another one so I can hook it up to that switch down there, and then I'll run this wire down there, up and over. And then the fun part is going to be wiring in the control solenoid. I'm having a little bit of an issue with leaks here, and it's not because of the line that I'm using. Actually, the only nylon line I'm using is for the bags themselves, and that's not leaking. But the fittings I have, for whatever reason, just have no chill. They have the slightest leak, so I'm probably just gonna let it go for now until I'll probably, the push connect fittings I have for that solenoid pack down there are, I'm gonna have to get some different ones. I gotta run back to Napa and get some solder and whatnot, so I might grab a couple of those 1/4 inch push connect fittings. I'm thinking they'll have some better ones. I don't care if the tank has a little bit of a leak, because that'll just regulate itself. And it's a small leak, very small. But it's those airbags, I don't want them to leak because they're completely separate. So if one leaks and one doesn't, the truck will want to lean, and you got to keep, regulating it. So yeah, anyways, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just I'm getting ready to have some lunch and get some coffee, and then probably run to Napa and get some stuff and kind of fix those two issues. I think I've got air in it right now. Yeah, it's got air in it right now. It's sitting level. Without air, it's got a lean to the back. And it's got the lean because it's got four-wheel drive axles in up front. It is just loud today. I still need to wire my key on for this guy, but I got our main wire, or relay control wire, plumbed in. You almost can't even tell I put it there. And then number 4, I'm running on a 20 amp circuit, which is probably more than enough for that, way more than enough for that relay. But so what I'm gonna end up doing is, this is gonna be light bar, rear lights. That'll be something else. This is gonna be for the compressor. So I hit that, compressor comes on. This one, these two here, this is gonna be for the left or driver's side airbag control. So this will be up, this will be down. This one here will be for the passenger side. That'll be up, that'll be down. So that's what we're gonna do. So I need to run my wires for that, make a harness that'll come all the way down, and then connect into that solenoid there. And I'll link put a link in the description for the solenoid pack. So what we got here, this wire here that I got here, this is gonna be your, well, I have it set up for, let's see, number one port is for my driver's side airbag. So this is gonna be my down, this is gonna be my up, and then this is the passenger side, this is the down, this is the up, this one is a ground. This one I'm just going to probably put a little terminal on it and just loop her in somewhere right here. Yeah, that's how that's gonna go. I have the very faintest leak, and I think it's just coming from that fitting. This one here was leaking, but I tightened it up until it won't go no more, and it's good. So I think we'll be good there for leaks. I have one more new push connect coming for that solenoid block. That should take care of all my leaks there, but for right now, stuff works. So yeah, I'm going to spend some time. Well, actually, I need to mount this, get that mounted in there. I left a little excess on this because I'm going to be adding a T-fitting into that. I gotta find a kind of a decent-ish spot for that to just chill. I'm putting a T-fitting on that, and the T-fitting is gonna run a hose to the front here, and we'll have an air chuck in the front, and I'm gonna have an air chuck in the back so I can easily air up my front and rear tires. So yeah, I'm gonna get this bolted down, and then I'm gonna make my harness that's gonna run from the aux beam up and over and down with this wire here, and that'll give me my control for my solenoid pack. So yeah, pretty neat, huh? I don't know what the pressure is in the tank right now, but I just aired it up until it stopped, and we're sitting, can't really see this side here, but it's got a little bit of a rake to it. When I get my gauge hooked up, oh, that's the other thing, I gotta run wires. I have to run wires from my sensors all the way to the front. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. I have like, there's 8 wires that have to run down there. I think in total I've got 10 wires going down there. So yeah, I'm gonna spend some more time working on that. I think I might fire up my diesel heater. I'm cold. My hands are freezing. They're freezing. All right, Tibbs, check this out. So the bottom 4 on the right, those 2 are driver down, driver and passenger down. I'm gonna air up the I should just put you behind the truck. So if we want to fill up the driver's side, you press that button. And then the one on the right fills the driver. Now to equalize it, I'll put them both up and let it level out. And then you turn them off, and then they're completely separate. So we're gonna drain the driver's side. Passenger. And then if we want to turn our compressor on, isn't that slick? We got our battery chargiculator on there. Got her on the 10 amp mode. I've noticed, just messing with this gauge here, it powers off when there's no pressure. We'll put our compressor on, pump the tank up a little bit. I still haven't bolted the compressor down. Should probably do that next. Huh. Well, I'm not really sure what's going on. I just probed these, each wire, just to make sure something's not crossed. Oh, I didn't check. Well, you know, I'm not really sure. It's the first time I've had one of these gauges, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. So, yeah, okay. Hopefully it's not a bad gauge. It works if you have one plugged in, it's fine. But then as soon as I plug, you know, either or in, if I have two in there, it turns off. So that's kind of a problem. So I'll come back to that later. Alright, Jibs, before we call it a quits, there is one thing we need to install first. And it is the air filter. Let's see, we're going to need to set this aside here. So this has a little air filter here. I'm not exactly sure where I want to put it. Usually this area stays pretty dry. I wonder if we can drill that hole out a little bit bigger and stab this in there. Yeah, that heat is kind of necessary. So we'll get her right about there. We'll see, will this just pop on there without being a pain in the ass? Just heat it up a little bit. Well, that'll have to do for now. Actually, no, I want it to be a little bit warmer. Well, folks, I think that's actually going to wrap it up for this video. I've got the compressor bolted down to the, now she's getting warm, bolted down to the fender well here. I've got my line set up here. A little bit later, I'm waiting on some parts to come in, but I want to get a T-fitting for this and maybe route this a little bit differently so it's a little bit cleaner. Probably snake it down there, but I'm going to run a line to the front, which will have an air check, and we'll do the same for the back. And then our aux beam is controlling the relay right here that runs this. So we've got that, and then the signal wire from the aux beam runs down to our switch. I don't know if you can see it. Runs down to that switch there. And when it hits 120 psi, it turns the compressor off, and when it hits 90, it turns it back on. Seems like it takes maybe 5 minutes to pump up from 0 to 120, so not bad for that tiny little compressor. I'm still not sure what's going on with my gauge here. I know some people have complained about glow shift in the past. I haven't had issues with mine so far, but this one here seems weird. Like I said, I checked to see if I had any short circuits, but I did pretty good about not having any stragglers poking through the heat shrink, so I'm not sure what's going on there. I did get this gauge using a gift card from work, so I may order another one and see if it does the same thing. I would hope not. It's a $120 gauge, so. But yeah, oh, I lost my connections. But yeah, it's pretty cool with the aux beam here. So it's driver up, passenger up, and then I ended up going driver down, passenger down. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyways, that's gonna be my my install on this. I'm gonna make a couple updates later down the road. I want to get some parts in. I wanted, like I said, wanted to use this kit to not just air up tires or anything. Not just air up tires, but also you know, inflate the airbags that we got in the back there. So yeah, that's pretty sweet though, huh? I like it. This thing's not too terribly loud. It's I'd say fairly quiet for what it is, and then it does what I ask it to, so I'm happy. That's pretty freaking awesome, eh? Hey? Alright, tubes. I'm gonna put links down below for all the stuff here. Yeah. All my wiring and everything. Up along, kind of hidden. Not bad, huh? Yeah, links down below for if you want this kit. It's, I think it's $268. Works good. $160 for the aux beam. And then like almost $400 for the airbag kit. Cool. This thing's coming around. Off note, or side note, I have a smaller carburetor coming for this. I got a 450 quick fuel. I found out that carburetor is too big, and I think it's fouling out my spark plugs, which is kind of what's causing that running issue that I've been having. So unfortunately I screwed up on that. I thought a 650 would be, you know, perfect for this, but as it turns out, based on some calculations I've been using to figure out carburetor size, a stock 302 with a max RPM range of, I think I did like 5,500 RPM with a 80% efficiency. Yeah, 450 is pretty much where it wants to be. So I've got one of those coming. That might be the next video, not sure. But yeah, this Edelbrock's just too big for this 302. So yeah, anyways, that's a video coming up. We'll probably have to take the plugs out and clean them up or replace them or whatnot. So yeah, anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. We'll catch you next time, and we'll see you in the next one.